What's good, you so boy Dolo Iran back on another video. Today, man, we are watching the 10 most disturbing ways animals can hunt you by Casual Geographic. I ain't even gonna lie, this nigga blew up, like he blowed up so fucking fast, bro. Like, I remember just like this nigga been like 20K subscribers. This shit crazy. I nigga up like 4 million. Like I compared like a 2 years later, this man up 4 million. But that's besides the point. Like shit, I ain't gonna say too much. You know, I'm trying to learn some new things, man, about the animals and how they can fuck you up. Let's get into the video. Make sure I like and subscribe. Let's get it. Ha. Ooh, shit. Hold on. Wait. Whoa. I already started the video. You know, look. Them tigers, they always torture their ass in India. Cause look. Look at this shit. Damn, what the fuck was he slamming?
If you have nothing else to be grateful for, get on your knees and be glad that if you have 99 problems, avoiding predators ain't one. I hope. Otherwise, you should probably get off your knees. Predators have petrified us for
Look
as
at
long
this
as
shit.
cavemen had
Yeah, I would close
consciousness,
down his
simply
ass
off
too.
the fact that just seeing one implies many others had to die. But for many, it's not what they can do to you, it's how. And these are the top 10 worst animals to be hypothetically hunted.
He had that shit
For them,
coming. That was
it gets
probably the
a lot
dumbest
less
shit ever.
hypothetical as the list goes on.
Oh, hey, imagine seeing this shit on water.
The top 10 worst animals to be hypothetically hunted by, and spoiler,
Oh
it gets a
my
lot
god,
less
nigga, imagine seeing this shit in the water. He looking at you like this. Or she. Nigga, he looking at you like food. Oh my god, it's scary. Oh, man. Look at the face, look at the eyes. You look like food to me. Man, what?
hypothetical as the list goes
Hell
on. The
no.
only rule is I won't be talking about sea stars or crocodiles, only because I just made videos on both.
Let me
Trust
turn the
and
video.
believe
I
they're
can't hear
both very
shit.
qualified to be here. And if that disappoints you, here's a consolation prize.
10.
There's a lot of things to be afraid of being marooned on an island. Dehydration, exposure, but most don't consider being culled by crabs. And that's because, outside of remote islands in the Indian and Pacific Ocean, the coconut crab is only found in a very bad trip.
That
Despite its name,
motherfucker.
coconuts are an insignificant...
Bro, these things get so big, bro. They huge. I ain't never seen one in person, but I done seen some big ass crabs. You feel me? Off of just like aquariums and shit.
That didn't stop nature from
Them motherfuckers like why?
Besides, their street name is more lore accurate.
That nigga over with. I don't know what he think he finna do.
Since they'll swarm your camp and carry off anything that ain't nailed down. The problem is, that's also how they hunt. In 2016, scientists watched as a coconut crab climbed a tree and attacked the sleeping bird, snapping its wings, only to continue its death grip after they both fell to the ground. Within minutes, several other crabs spawned in and proceeded to shred the barely breathing bird for hours. The crawling antichrists are scavengers with bloodlust, so getting gored by one means you'll certainly be maimed by more, and the fact that they can climb and track blood means there's nowhere on the island you can go where the Krusty Krab crew won't find you. The crabs are any-can animals, as in anything can get it. Rats, cats, even full-grown pigs can get flesh stripped, but the most disturbing stories are those of coconut crabs eating humans. One gruesome account followed the 82-day Battle of Okinawa, where Japanese soldiers bore witness to hordes of giant spider-like crabs ravaging the bodies of their dead comrades. There's no real proof that this happened or that it even involved coconut offenders, but unfortunately, that's exactly how the crabs
That's possible.
Imagine a gang of armored cockroaches carrying the jaws of life. Except the outcome of getting caught
damn, 3,300 newtons?
And with a diet of detritus.
Wait, what is that? Talking too much.
Is carrying the jaws of life, except the outcome of getting caught between them is quite
cracking your rib.
With the diet of detritus, most crabs are poisonous to eat, especially since many have the habit of eating sea mangoes, a fruit so toxic it has another name, the Swedish apple. By far, the scariest theory, though, is that it was coconut crabs that perp-walked Amelia Earhart off the census. Scary because, whether she was past tense on arrival or incapacitated a plane crash would not have changed the response by the crabs. And while it's just a theory, the idea that someone's last moments could be spent desperately dragging their crippled body before an army of crabs brutally mutilates them for hours, as their suffering only draws more, is enough to earn them a spot on this list.
Terrible,
yet,
terrible way to die.
I
think Just like don't be on the beach late at night. You can't sleep on the sand on the beach. Especially if you got coconut crabs. The next thing you know, you woke up. Whole bunch of snaps on your body. You clipped your ribs. Now it's all over you. Terrible way to die.
Most people
Terrible.
aren't afraid of the dark. More so what could be in it. Thalassophobia is that before the ocean. But
Oh,
not a lot of
hell nah.
people are afraid of the sky. Probably because you should be able to see what's coming. That's why the harpy eagle is number 9. Because if this is your predator,
I seen them.
you'll
Them
never
things
know
huge.
peace. They're one of the biggest eagles on the planet, but what makes harpies built different is that their wings are way shorter, which means the harpy aimbot can chase you through the trees in a way no eagle ever should. Just imagine a homicidal hippogriff breaking into your house and snatching your little brother out of his bed. And now you understand the generational PTSD the monkeys on their meal prep carry. And those claws guarantee you don't get the chance to find out twice. The size of a grizzly bear's mitt with the grip force of a Rottweiler's jaws.
Look how big them motherfucking claws is. The talons, not claws. They're about big as a nigga hands. And look how thick it is. They ain't ripping your head off. I think they can rip your head off. I think they could literally rip your head off. Oh, like you just grab on like that. They can rip your head off. I don't care. Hey,
You can actually hear the bones of their prey breaking as the harpies crush the life out of them. And safe to say, the same feet that can crack open an armadillo would not feel good to have gripping your skull. It is incredibly rare, but there are cases of harpy eagles attacking and clawing humans, where the eagle's leg had to be amputated because even after death, the talons wouldn't release their grip. In 2023, tourists in French Guiana walked past a perching harpy when it suddenly went for one of the women, plunging its claws into her scalp and leaving her
That's
with
crazy.
deep lacerations. The concept of being jump scared by a plus-size prehistoric Freddy Krueger cockatoo spikes my cortisol, but they rarely go after humans, and when they do, the fault's usually the humans. The next animal not only punished the good deed of one man, it became one of the worst animal
huge.
attacks in Brazilian history. It's a reputation for being Satan's sandbox, but not enough people give credit to the sheer insanity of the Amazon. What's a jaguar's favorite exercise? Skull crushers. Not to mention you have a Jurassic reject in Anaconda, an animal that weaponizes electricity and we all decided that was okay, and a fish that convinced thousands to never pee in a river. Yet the apex predator of the Amazon isn't actually a jaguar. To be fair, the giant river otter is also called the Ariana, or the water jaguar. But with its attitude and aptitude for gang violence, it's more like an unhinged water wolf. That gang mentality is how a group can make a jaguar hit the reverse with no key. It's already bad enough that the roid weasel can grow to 6 feet long, without the fact that they'll also roll in a pack. It's an apex predator.
They like
It's
otters.
mostly fish, but they'll also fold crustaceans, anaconda, and even other river otters will adjust their routine to
those things look like little
by a
mini
crazy
devils.
cousin. You don't realize what multiple are capable of until you realize how bad they do caiman. Giant river otters will jump a caiman, overwhelming it until its muscles fill with lactic acid and it's virtually paralyzed. It's been said before, but that is an honest erectile dysfunction. An otter mafia will eviscerate the caiman alive, ripping it to pieces, while also sounding like if Rugrats took place in purgatory.
Imagine getting jumped by them. They just doing all that yelling. Shit embarrassing.
Imagine not knowing what river otters are and hearing that for the first time. The worst part is, it's been proven the same hunting tactic against a human is tragically effective. Silvio Delmar Hollenbach was a Brazilian army sergeant who had taken his family to the Brasilia Zoo when a bunch of commotion got his attention. A 13-year-old had fallen into one of the moats and now was being threatened by the animals in it. Hollenbach said, "Don't hold me back," and without thinking, leapt into the pool and lifted the injured kid out. Sadly, that meant the focus of the family of vindictive otters was now on Silvio, and the gang of aggressives dragged the struggling Hollenbach into the water and brutally mauled him in front of his family. Silvio would be pulled out, but the over 100 bite wounds and water that was the equivalent of a microbe mosh pit sealed his fate, as he would die of a nasty infection. Hollenbach was mourned and celebrated by everyone, except the boy he saved, who apparently never even mustered a thank you. The same 13-year-old that got a man turned into a chew toy would be arrested in 2016 after scamming millions worth of pension money, proving that sometimes being a hero only means saving a villain.
What? So you don't get arrested in the end? Type of shit? What?
Babies. But the next animal is the mascot of F Around and Find Out.
Look at them hands. Strong as hell.
The cave
Human
buffalo
hand.
makes no sense on this list. until you remember it's one of the few prey animals that actually hunts predators. The tank, nicknamed Black Death, is arguably the most death-edging animal to hunt because it is a top 5 most vengeful creature on Earth. A common misconception is that the lion's biggest rival is the hyena. That's laughable when a 1,200-pound pissy eats in a big cat backpedaling. The Cape buffalo is number 7 because cows are dangerous.
Man, they
enough,
never
but
get
if
them
Widowmaker tastes
buffaloes,
death,
bro.
The rage cow ensures you go down with it. The Cape buffalo has treed lions for hours.
Man, every time them lions be fighting, they be having a difficult time. After I be seeing them the shows and stuff, them fighting, bro. They be getting stabbed in the stomach, guts be coming out. They be having holes in their stomach, intestines all out. Them buffaloes be messing them up. All because they want to eat.
Just for the purpose of stomping them out. Now add that the Bush Mafia can pull up in a
them things strong, bro.
Now you understand how lions risk going full-time horizontal every time.
You see how big a lion is. Now see a buffalo, bro. Just flip that man like 20 feet up in the earth.
Without realizing the buffalo's
damn, I know he got a couple holes in his leg.
To lure you in and stalk you just to rear end you when your back is turned and keep going until you stop standing. And unlike most herbivores that'll straight up watch you get got, or in some cases gift wrap you themselves, Cape buffalo will spin the block for a predator.
Woo! Y'all see that?
Some cases,
boy, they ran over 3 of them. Blue.
In an effort 1,000 times John Wick. You know you're dealing
I seen it. I think that lion died from that too.
Honey badger method on a lion, and some people have to be connected to God's Wi-Fi before they understand. Texas trophy hunter Asher Watkins thought it was sweet until his target attacked him, completely ambushing him. The spite-fueled beef struck Watkins at 35 miles per hour, tearing his chest and stomach open, and he was declared dead.
Dang.
A tragic death, but definitely not unprovoked. Imagine walking through a corn maze knowing you're one wrong turn away from a buffalo same-day shipping you to the Lord like an afterlife Amazon package.
Tear his stomach open, bro. That's shit.
On several islands throughout Indonesia,
man, leave the animals alone.
Time left behind. The Komodo dragon is one of those predators where once they start hunting you, you're as good as dead. The Komodo is everything scary about coconut crabs, but on that Jurassic juice. Komodos will eat everything, and it's why baby dragons will hide up in the trees or even roll around in feces because the adults are highly cannibalistic. The steroid giga iguana also has the unfortunate habit of unearthing human graves and feeding on the long-expired remains. The Komodo dragon only has about 12 successful hunts a year, so when one makes you a priority, prepare to spend days tailgated by a murderous monitor lizard. In 2008, 5 scuba divers were caught in a riptide and swept out to sea, and after 12 hours spent drifting the aquatic void, they landed on Rinca Island, where they spent the next 5 days playing cat and mouse with a monster resident dragon that took notice and stalked them, which isn't easy, thanks to another unfortunate habit of theirs. We used to think Komodos were one-shot specialists that only needed to bite you once and then just wait for you to fold to bacterial infection. And as cold as that would be, it's like LeBron letting you get the ball just to spank it off the backboard. The truth is more disturbing. Komodos don't just let their prey go, but their contingency plan is if you do get away, the glorified gecko can track you by blood, and anticoagulants in their venom keep you bleeding. So now it becomes a broken game of hide and seek, and playing it on an island the size of
find your ass. You tell him make
area code you can go where the leather bloodhound won't find you. Even worse, the longer you manage to play.
First I had grabbed him by his tickles.
Manhunt with monitors, the more dragons will be there to eviscerate you when you do fall. That blood sense is no joke. Menstruating women are actually advised against visiting for fear that the resident garbage disposals confuse them for a dying animal. There's stories of bleeding tourists lying to their guides to not miss out on the trip, only to be surrounded by dozens of Komodos coming in all over the island.
I doubt.
Think there's no way an animal moving like that can catch you slipping. Millions of years of evolution.
And the motherfuckers hella fast.
Saw 2 dragons stalking a fruit picker from below a tree, and when Muhammad Anwar fell, the Komodos rushed him and mauled him to death. Maybe I'm giving them too much credit. Or maybe you haven't heard a baby goat scream from inside of a dragon.
They mauled him to death? I feel like most of the time, like, them Komodos, they, like, calm and chill. Like, they wouldn't, like, bother you. Maybe you gotta feed them niggas once shit. Feed them niggas. You don't gotta worry about shit. You feel me? You don't gotta worry about getting ate up. I see, yeah, bro. Them things, that venom is something different, gang. You dead off rip. One
To say
bite.
that the ocean terrifies me beyond
Man, what the
comprehension
hell
is
is
an
that?
understatement, and the animal that scares me
That
more than
real?
any other isn't
Nah,
a
that's
shark,
fake.
isn't an orca, not even a giant squid, but not a squid. Because I'd rather go skinny dipping around great white sharks than ever catch a Humboldt squid in the wild. At only up to 6 feet long, they're not the biggest, but everything about the way they feed fuels my nightmares. When a hunting Humboldt homes in
Look
on
at the teeth
something,
on them
they'll approach
motherfuckers.
it with all 10 appendages extended to grab prey and force it towards its mouth. And not only can that beak slice skin and cut chainmail, they do it so fast that they can grab and retract prey in just one camera frame. Not
Man, they can
they have
grab your
two
face and
tentacles
rip it off.
suckers that contain inner teeth, great for grabbing. But the real reason the Humboldt is number 5 is because the way they would hunt you is straight out of a Stephen King wet dream. Humboldts can hunt in parties over 1,000 strong. They're
Oh,
also
yeah, it's
highly
over with.
aggressive, speed-eating gluttons that'll strip fish down to the bones before fishermen even have time to reel them up. They're also trigger happy with the cannibalism, and the moment one of their own shows weakness,
Damn.
it gets jumped and torn to shreds. The problem with Humboldts is they speed run life so fast they're never not thinking about food. And
How
if you find
fast he was
yourself in the
going.
waters at the wrong time, you can get mauled by a pack of fleshy-armed box cutters. But it's the intelligence that's the biggest problem, because Humboldts
They
aren't
smart.
always aggro. They can be curious too, and they'll often steal cameras and lights just to take them apart and examine them.
Man,
Humboldts can go from
also got some weird ass creatures, and it's like the problem with them is they hella fucking smart. I think they smarter than motherfucking land animals. Some of them just retarded as hell, like fish. They just regular, like they just feel like fish are just robots in the sea. But then you got some like orcas and blue whales and shit like that, and it's just like they hella smart. Like they could be, when they say them spirit animals and shit, man, they could be some. Them animals smart. Fucking octopus and all that shit, they smart as hell. Smart. Shit, I think they could solve my goddamn test and shit.
0 to homicide in seconds, and because they communicate by
Man, them
flashing
ones
red
is
in a sea
smart.
of black, once one says go, many more will follow. One
They learn
diver was
if they learn
approaching
human
Squid,
things, bro.
Jackie started nibbling on him, and
If
the
that was
diver,
ever a thing, bro,
probably
they
couldn't
know.
believe his luck, started filming, and in
They-
seconds the
they
squid
saw that shit in
started
seconds.
pulsing red, and the man was
If that was
immediately
possible.
slammed by multiple as they simultaneously began to pull him into the abyss. He would escape.
It's way
but
too
he
dark
genuinely
for you
thought
to
his
be in
ticket to Tupac was booked, and there's many more stories of divers being confronted by squids and nearly dragged to the point of no return, and some even swear they've had Humboldts attempt to rip off their masks and drown them. But going back to
Whew,
the first
shit.
report, I think the most
And they
disturbing part
purposely
is the
doing
moment
that too.
he
They
didn't
know
fight
exactly what
back
the
and
mask
let
is
himself
you,
look
which is
stupid,
crazy.
the moment he became a green light to a red devil. The last unfortunate fact is that Humboldts will perform diel vertical migrations, where every day they rise from the depths to hunt before eventually going back down. So they're more likely to run into you during goblin mode. Unfortunately for the next animal, goblin mode is their entire life.
Bruh. That basically means if you see them, that means you need to get the fuck up out the water. That's all that means. Get up out the water. Cause if not, it's over for you. It's over for you, man. It's over for you.
You've probably heard that there's few animals that actively hunt humans, and that polar
Shit.
bears are one of them. I want to clarify, they don't actively hunt humans, they just passively don't give a follow me now. Polar bears are the largest predators on land, and as big as you think they are,
Look how
I
huge
swear
that head
they're
is.
bigger. The problem starts with the fact that they're the only hyper-carnivore bear. They eat meat, and meat stands for Merc every and any time, and it can make up 95% of their diet.
It's
whereas
not
something
a
like
survival
grizzly bear,
chance.
It can be as low as 10. That would be bad enough, but polar bears also live in a freeze-dried desert where in the winter, they can only live off of feces, foxes, and other fallen polar bears. Polar
Damn.
bears have way less options, and with the sea ice they depend on receding, they can either get creative or get cremated. So they don't actively hunt humans, the same way I don't actively grocery shop for Chips Ahoy, but best believe if I see them, I'ma grab it. That's the polar bear, except they don't have to see you. With the best nose of any predator, a polar bear can smell a seal from miles away.
That's
It can
wild,
detect a
bro.
breeding hole from another area code and can even clock a seal under a foot of ice. So it's really true. If a polar bear sees you, it's already too late. From 1870 to
Shit.
2014, there have been only 73 attacks on humans.
That's
with
a lot of
20
attacks.
census subtractions. But being targeted by the ultimate predator of persistence
Well,
is a
not
different
really.
level of fear. In 2016, 5 Russian scientists were held hostage by over 10 polar bears who stalked their weather station and forced them to have
over 10 polar bears
by helicopter. In 2019, 50 polar bears invaded the town of Novaya Zemlya and put them in a state of emergency, where people were afraid to leave their houses and refused to let their children go to school. And with shooting them being illegal, folks had to bear this reverse Goldilocks situation.
Russia could deal with that shit. They deal with so many goddamn birds.
Residential buildings. Polar bears are a force of nature, and number 4, because once one chooses you, you can't run fast enough or swim far enough to be safe. One swam over 400 miles in just 9 days.
Ridiculous.
So trust that you would not get away. But there's always been something about a carnivorous Q-tip that unsettled me, and I think I figured it out.
All right, so listen up.
Like, what can you do?
Charge me $197
You can't.
for car insurance.
One thing and one thing only, and it's sad that I have to do it to you.
They're incredibly curious and intelligent, which makes
You gotta shoot it, man. You gotta shoot it.
in general seem cold and calculated. You'll often notice in a lot of videos where they approach humans, the polar bears seem quiet and emotionless, and you can almost see them trying to figure it out. And their face expressions and body language tell you nothing. A polar bear pulling up on you can be curious, apathetic, or ready to revoke your presence, and you will not know which. And that's just it. They're disturbingly deadpan. And I think that's by design. Most black and brown bear attacks are defensive, meaning they either had cubs around or you managed to catch them off guard. And most times they'll give you many signs that you're effing around in the jurisdiction of finding out. A polar bear doesn't, because oftentimes a polar bear isn't trying to negotiate or communicate. With you, it's trying to eat you while weighing the cost. So what often makes them look
crazy,
cute and innocent is actually them being apathetic, emotionless terminators. Because remember, they don't fear humans the same way their cousins do, and most encounters are on the polar bear's terms. So it's true when they say, if it's black, push back. If it's brown, retire to the ground. And if it's white like a sheep, you finna go to sleep.
Bro, I'm not retiring to the ground, bro.
And white like a picket fence means you'll wake up past tense.
Them motherfucking polar bears be hungry, bro. That's a terrible way to die.
Number 2 are both interchangeable. It just depends on which movie scares you more. A gross out body horror slasher flick,
That
or
scene
a
is ridiculous,
psychological
low-key.
mental health massacre. If you pick psychological, wait for number 2. And if
Y'all,
you
that
pick slasher,
SpongeBob scene is crazy.
well, you probably already know how horrific it is being hunted by chimps. The sick joke is, less than 5% of their diet is meat. Yet in places like Nagogo and Uganda, they can have a success
Them
rate
chimps
of
be
80%
swole as hell.
because the way they hunt
Strong
is
as hell.
coordinated and calculated. First, you have drivers, and their job is to pressure prey into the trees without actually trying to catch them. The moment you try to climb, you've screwed yourself, because there's also blockers whose job is to limit any possible escape routes and make a literal jungle gym even smaller. So now you gotta avoid them while being chased through the trees by chasers. The last role are the chimps smart enough to anticipate where you'll try to escape and will camp themselves in the perfect spot to snatch you if you pass by. It's painfully effective, and once something like a colobus monkey is caught, it's immediately crippled and eviscerated into several pieces. I genuinely have to be careful with what I show y'all. Just know that monkey's still alive and he gets his arm snapped after all that. Chimpanzees are number 3 because they might have the most brutal ways of past tensing prey, and they don't discriminate. Chimps are on record ambushing families of gorillas, frightening the females and running fades with a silverback, and kidnapping any babies to remove them. They're not the only babies at risk, and viewer discretion is advised. As habitat loss and food shortages have pushed humans and chimps together, there have been more cases of chimpanzees snatching human children with chilling results.
Man, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, them chimps, they be cool, but they could be ruthless as hell. And they smart as hell. They smart too. They one of the smartest animals too, bro. They damn near like humans, and they 10 times stronger. They strong as hell. You could do all that lifting and shit. You can lift as much as you want. As much as you want to, bro. But you cannot. The strength on these things and the gorillas is just not the same. It's like they strength is on a whole nother fucking level. Talking about natural things for their body. And they naturally climbing on trees every day. They've been doing this shit since they was a baby, gang. Since they was a baby, they been climbing on trees. Hanging on trees. Nigga, they could do a them little pull-ups and pushing up like that. They could probably do like a 100 of those like it's nothing. The strength is ridiculous. All through they just body weight, gang. Now imagine if we did that shit since we was babies. Up to adult age and continuously doing it. We would be the strongest human. We would be strong as hell. Then you add Then you eating the natural foods and shit. You doing a whole lot of hanging on the bars every day, climbing on trees and shit. Doing that every fucking day. Think we be just as strong. We would be stronger, I think. All because we smarter. Our mind is stronger. We think, you know what I'm saying? They just got the advantage because, nigga, you know how we talk. We taught to wear shoes and all other type of bullshit.
I mean it this time. One human toddler was grabbed by a big male, and in less than a minute, he broke his arm, beat his head,
Not work out.
disemboweled the boy, and removed his kidneys. Being hunted by chimps is like playing death tag with parkour-capable pack hunting zombies, but luckily, meat isn't their main food, and attacks are still relatively rare. Which is why I have tigers at 2. Tigers don't actively hunt humans, but living on top of each other for
Man, them
centuries
things
is why
ruthless.
tigers have the highest human body count of
Look,
any
this
animal
nigga done
on
broke
this
the
list.
damn
Folks
gate.
traditionally wore masks backwards in order to discourage the tiger into thinking he had lost the element of surprise. But it's believed the trick was spammed too hard and now the tigers are catching on. But intelligence is the second scariest thing about them. Number 1 is they are the most vengeful animals on the planet. Black Death,
Ooh, he
Piss off a
definitely
tiger,
died.
and you might not live to regret it. You may have heard of the poacher that shot a tiger and stole part of its kill. So the tiger tracked him down all the way to his cabin, destroyed anything that smelled like the poacher, including his mattress, just to John Wick the man when he eventually. Tatiana the tiger proved that you don't have to be in the wild to find out. After she escaped through San Francisco and closer to track down and savage the men that had taunted her. But by far, the most notorious tiger in history was the Devil of Champawat. This was a Bengal tiger who had gotten her canine teeth broken, likely by a human, which meant she could no longer hunt her normal prey. The
That the
result
head
was
of
she
it?
started stalking humans, and the end game was the man-eater of Champawat destroyed 436 people, eluding poachers and hunting parties, and somehow always knowing when to leave an area and lay low. Tigers are quick and efficient. They take you out and
436
then return
people?
back to the shadows, and honestly, I'd probably die of an anxiety attack long before a feline flatline. They don't usually go out of their way, but all the extra
Look at the eyes on that motherfucker. Man, fuck nah.
has shown us exactly what tigers
Hell
are
nah.
capable of, and the worst part is
Come on
they
now.
could easily be scarier. The reason tigers are orange is because orange isn't a concept to the animals they do prey on, and if we were on that list, this is what the world's biggest whiskered reaper would look like, and it's still not number 1.
I think, yeah, like, tigers are like elephants where, like, they remember your motherfucking face. Just don't get caught. If you do some shit to them, kill their kids or something like that, they coming after you. And then they gonna come after your family. Then they gonna come after, man, they don't give a fuck. They coming after everybody that look like you. You didn't cause hate for everybody. Now they coming after you. And a tiger way strong, probably the strongest leopard, cat feline, cat. The strongest, biggest cat. I think they're stronger than lions too. Them things different, bro. And they're not to be fucked with.
Orcinus orca is the most oppressive predator on the planet, and at this point, there's not much I can say that you don't already know. You know they're intelligent, but what genuinely surprised me is they take very few risks. If prey has the smallest chance
They
of fighting
hella
back,
smart.
orcas will move the needle to 0 before they move in. Not only
Smarter
that,
than
their
dolphins, I
methods
think.
change depending on the target. That's why they'll soul slap a stingray before it can sting. That's why they'll immobilize sharks before they can bite. And
Let
it's
me
why
fucking
they'll
them
uppercut
sharks
the
up,
seal
bruh.
as they go like Super Smash Bros. But they don't neutralize prey just to be safe to eat. They'll turn a dying
They
animal
eating
into
a
a
blue-
life lesson.
uh-oh.
In that same stingray clip,
Uh,
a family
shark-
of orcas
what's
toyed
them,
with the
whale
half of the
sharks?
stingray before letting its body sink into the abyss when they were done. I genuinely believe the stingray was slapped by the orca grandmother, and the rest of the pod was playing with it in order to learn how to deal with one, and when the lesson was over, they had no further use for him. It's not cruelty, it's communal calculation, but it is why orcas are the most fear-inspiring, heart-retiring predators to have, and if you're still not
Just bit
convinced,
that thing in
let me
half.
tell you a story that still sticks with me.
I dare you to let me build you a completely free e-commerce
I'm
store.
tired of seeing him.
One grandmother orca was not only smart enough to memorize when elephant seals in the Falklands would breed, she knew exactly where and what time the tide would be high enough to hold her. This 20-foot Type A dolphin basically staked out the nursery pool until the tide got high enough for her to seemingly spawn out of nowhere and abduct a defenseless seal pup, where she then dragged the seal out to sea as a practice dummy. For the next
Shit
several
crazy.
hours, her family toyed with and tormented the baby seal, with the pup
Crazy.
alive for most of it. Again, it's not evil or torture, but it is how orcas polish their prowess. But for the seal, that's stranger danger on steroids, and one of the worst ways to go out. Slowly, and with zero hope. And now you see why great whites will piece out of a favorite hunting ground for a calendar year if they have a run-in with an op dolphin, and why humpbacks feel the way they do. We're talking about animals that'll roleplay as prey and practice drowning each other before they try it on a baby blue whale. It's not an act of malice more than survival, simply a skill surplus for them and a skill issue for everyone else. I won't
Look what
slander
they
them,
doing,
but I
bro.
definitely
Look at the shit
pity
they
their
doing, the
prey more than
tactics.
anything else's, but I gotta come clean. I did lie to you. They're actually not the most oppressive predator on the planet. That would be take away the guns, the technology, and everything else. The very foundation of how humans hunt makes them the most horror movie predators
That's
ever.
true.
Simply
Factual.
put, imagine a predator you can never run away from. You can get ahead. You can even get out of their sight, yet every time you turn to the horizon, they're there. They're not even tired, but you are. You're exhausted. You're thirsty and about to drop from heat stroke, yet there they are, not missing a beat, barely breaking a sweat. Hell, you can't even sweat, not like them, and it's killing you. You look in the distance, and to your dismay, here they come again. But this time, you don't have the strength to get back up. They're slow, but persistent, like an immortal snail that never stops. They run you into the ground, waste you without even touching you, and come sunrise, they're ready to do it all again. You just won't be there to see it. They're finally here. They literally walk you down knowing you're at your limit. One raises its stick, you close your eyes, you'd breathe your last breath, but they took all you had left, just like they take everything else. Your story's over, but the ending was authored long before you first ran. It's not your fault. It's not evil or a crime, but it is what happens when you meet the scariest predator of all time.
Hey, that's facts. That's literally facts. Number one is humans. The scariest one. This is just off animals. We not animals. But like, shit, we animals to them. Shit. Animals might have the strength. They might have all that, but in the end, they just don't have what we have, and that's just the mind. They just. I feel like the only way an animal can really beat you is off advantages. That's the only way they can take advantage. Like, only animal can beat us is off advantages. But if we got the weapons and shit like that, the advantage over with. Ain't no name shit. You can have all the advantages. It's only if we don't have what we have for ourselves. And that's a gun or something like that. You ain't got none of that, it's over with for us. But if you got that, it's over for them. But nah, that's the end of the video. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe to WVIG. Yeah, man, we out.